questions he may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Attorney Vought. As you may or may not know, I have a great deal of interest in agriculture. It's the #1 industry in Georgia, and of course, it contributes mightily to the United States economy. But as reported at the time, operating under several executive orders, the Department of Government Efficiency was active in attempting to cease many of the government operations and activities and to separate many of the federal employees. Employees left USDA through the deferred resignation program. I think the Office of Inspector General reported that APHIS lost 25% of its workforce, and the Ag Research Service lost about 23% of its workforce between January of '25 and June of '25. How many of these staff worked on the New World Screwworm surveillance research and other such activities that were intended to prevent the parasite from re-entering the United States? If you just take a note of that. Following the deferred resignation program in 2025, APHIS advertised 73 open positions. And tell me how many of those open positions were for the New World Screwworm surveillance monitoring research preparedness. And then after the administration dismantled USAID, USAID administered projects that funded the animal disease monitoring projects, including those that sought to monitor the New World Screwworm in Central America. In the FY26 budget, APHIS requested additional funds to prevent the spread of New World Screwworm. Did the FY26 budget request include the funding for the screwworm monitoring and surveillance that was previously funded in USAID? And I'd like to ask whether or not OMB has used its authorities to assist the international coordination efforts to prevent the spread of New World Screwworm in North America. There's a Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations which announced on June 19th a coordinated research project. Do you intend to allow the United States to participate and to engage with that? How have the policies and the proposed new rules affected research projects on New World Screwworm mitigation? All of this I'm raising because the New World Screwworm is drastically impacting, adversely impacting our farmers, our cattle producers, and the price of food. And I'd like to know whether or not the big, beautiful bill, all of the cuts that were done with DOGE and the proposals that we're now faced with, what is that doing for the American people?
Thank you, Congressman. We couldn't agree more in terms of it being a highest priority to deal with the screwworm, to take steps. If you were to monitor the things that I'm working on at least daily, one of those is that. Making sure that we have the resources to combat it and making sure we were doing it early in the administration. I can follow up with regard to FTE levels at APHIS. I don't know of those off the top of my head. But we don't believe that this is an issue that is under-resourced. We believe that USDA has everything it needs to both create a long-term capability here and also find as many shots on goal to be able to deal with this in real time for farmers.
The bottom line is, as a result of the loss of the ARS people that were working on the screwworm issue, working to make sure that they didn't come north from Mexico and Central America immediately, after these resignations and the loss of all of the expertise, we saw this creep and this drastic increase in the screwworm coming into the United States. And our farmers are really, really concerned about that now.
We agree that there is an issue that the federal government needs to respond to, and we believe that we are doing so robustly with a properly resourced effort led by Secretary Rollins.
But you did take a step backwards when you curtailed that in the beginning of the administration.
Well, I wouldn't agree with that. I'm happy to respond to that with questions for the record and follow up with regard to FTEs. People retire, we have to fill those jobs. And many of the people that we were taking steps to reduce, there was a backlog of individuals that weren't necessarily on board with the administration and performing the policy agenda of this administration.
I'm specifically talking about screwworm.
Mr. Bishop, well, unfortunately, we'll have to move on, sir.